Good afternoon all. Today we are going to understand multi-threaded programming and in this video we will be seeing overview of the threads, multi-threading models and threading issues. Thread is a basic unit of CPU utilization and it has thread ID. Each thread will be having thread ID, program counter, stack and set of registers. And there will be single threaded process and a multi-threaded process. Single threaded traditional process have single thread of control. It is also known as heavyweight process. Like a single thread, then some process will be multi-threaded applications. Like a multiple threads within a single process. That is also known as lightweight process. So multi-threaded process also known as lightweight process. Single thread process also known as heavyweight process. This is the pictorial representation. So single thread process, they'll be having registers, stack, code, data and files. And coming to multi-threaded process, each thread will be having registers, stack and program counter. And code, data, files will be common. Code and data and files will be common and each thread will be having registers and stack. Registers means program counter also. So see, this is single and multi-threaded process. And the benefits of multi-threaded process are responsiveness, resource sharing, economy, utilization of MP architectures. First one is responsiveness. Responsiveness like for example, I'll tell you web browser. If you take web browser, when we are opening on web browser, images are coming very slowly, right? Retrieving images are very slowly and data are retrieving very fast. That is the benefit of multi-threaded browser. In web browser, we will be using multiple threads. One thread for to take care of images, another thread to take care of data. So one thread may provide rapid response while other threads are blocked or slowed down doing intensive calculations. Multi-threading allows a program to continue running even if part of it is blocked or is perform lengthy operation, thereby increasing responsiveness to the user. And next benefit is resource sharing. By default, threads share common data, code, data and other resources which allow multiple tasks to be performed simultaneously in a single address space. And the third benefit is economy. Creating and managed thread is much faster than performing the same task for the process. Context switching between thread is very fast. It will take very less time. And another benefit is scalability, that is utilization of multiple process architectures. Now, multi-threading can be greatly utilized in a multiprocessor architecture. Single-threaded process can make use of only one CPU. The execution of multi-threaded application may be split among available processors, and multi-threading on a multi-CPU machine increases concurrency. In a single-processor architecture, CPU generally moves between each thread so quickly as to create an illusion of an parallelism, but in reality, only one thread is running at a time. Here, multi-threading, one example is your word processor. Word processor, one thread will take care of when you are typing the data, read the data, other thread will take care of grammar check or spell check. So that is example for multi-threaded processor. And web browser also, that one thread will take care of image retrieval, another thread will take care of data retrievals, text retrievals. So benefits are responsiveness, resource sharing, economy and utilization of multiprocessor architectures. And multi-threading, next topic is multi-threading models. There are two types of threads, user threads and kernel threads. User threads are the threads that application programs would put into their programs. Kernel thread will take care of the kernel OS programs or supported within the kernel of the OS itself. So in a specific implementation, user thread must be mapped to kernel threads using one of the following model. Models are many-to-one, one-to-one and many-to-many. So mapping of user thread to kernel thread using these models. So first one is many-to-one. Many user level threads mapped to single kernel thread. Many user level threads mapped into single kernel thread. But when you are going for this kind, suppose if there is only one kernel thread to take care of all this user thread, right? So if one user thread is calling blocking mechanism, the entire system will get failed, right? See, if a blocking system call is made by one of the thread, the entire process is blocked, thus blocking the other user threads from the continuing the execution. And at a time only one user thread can contact to kernel thread, can access the kernel at a time, as there is only one kernel thread. Thus the threads are unable to run in the parallel operations. At a time, only one user can work because there is only one kernel thread. This is many to one model. Next model is one to one model. Each user level thread maps to kernel thread. This is the example. Each user thread will map to kernel thread. Here, one-to-one model create a separate kernel thread to handle each user thread. And the problem here is there are suppose you have n number of users, that many number of kernel threads should be there, and that will be overhead. Managing that many kernel threads will be a overhead. But you can the previous one, the problem was blocking mechanism. Here there won't be any blocking mechanism because to this thread, suppose this particular thread is calling blocking mechanism, is only that one is blocked, other can work normally. So one-to-one model overcome the problem listed above involving the blocking system call and the splitting of process across multiple CPUs. However, the overhead of managing the one-to-one model is more significant, involving more overhead and slowing down the system. This model places a limit on the number of threads created, because if you are creating n number of user threads, that many kernel threads should be created. That is not recommended. Next model is many-to-many model, allows many user level threads to be mapped to many kernel thread, allows the operating system to create a sufficient number of kernel threads. Here, many user threads are mapped to many kernel thread. It's not compulsory. If you have n number of kernel thread, you should have n number of kernel threads. It's not compulsory like that. Many user thread can map to many kernel thread. Users have no restriction on the number of threads created. In the previous case, one-to-one case model, there is a limit to create the number of user threads. Here there is no limit or restriction on the number of threads created. Blocking kernel system call do not block the entire process because there are many kernel threads to take care. Process can be split across multiple processors. Individual processors may be allocated variable number of kernel threads depending on the number of CPUs present and the other factors. This model is also called as two-tier model. And next topic is threading issues. There are semantics of fork and execution system call. Like when you are calling fork and execution system call, what is happening? And when you are cancelling the thread, or how to take care of signal handling, what is thread pools, thread specific data, scheduler activation. So these are the important threading issues. We'll see one by one. First one is semantics of fork and execute system calls. Fork and execute system call. The fork system call is used to create a separate duplicate process when a thread program calls fork. So fork means a separate fork system call means one new process creating, right? But if the process is a thread process, how it is working? The new process can be copy of the parent with all the threads, or the new process is a copy of a single thread only. There are two options. If the thread invoke execute system call, the program specified in the parameter to execute will be executed by the thread created. And termination cases, thread cancellation means terminating the thread before it has finished. That is thread cancellation. There are two approaches, asynchronous cancellation and deferred cancellation. Asynchronous cancellation means terminates the target thread immediately. Target thread means which thread you are going to cancel. That is known as target thread. Immediately that terminated. Deferred cancellation allows the target thread to periodically check if it should be cancelled. And the next issue is regarding signal handling. Signals are used in a Unix system to notify a process that a particular event has occurred. And the general method for signal handling is a signal is generated by a particular event. That signal is delivered to a process, and that process is handling that signal. But coming to here threaded process means there will be many threads in a process, right? So there are different options. Either deliver a signal to the thread to which the signal applies, or deliver a signal to every thread in the process, or deliver the signal to certain threads in the process, or assign a specific thread to receive all signals for the process. There are different options to handle that signal. Next one is thread pools. So creating a thread, in between creating a thread or cancel a thread is a big overhead. So to avoid that problem, whenever the process create, that time they will be creating number of threads and will be keeping in the pool. So advantages is usually slightly faster to service a request with an existing thread than create a new thread. Allow the number of threads in the applications to be bound to the size of the pool. Hope all of you understood this topic, threads. And the next video will be covering the scheduling of process.